went live, I just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce myself. One, I am under the weather. So if you hear a little in my voice, you know why, but I had to continue to come live with y'all because I have some stuff that I want to talk to you guys about because you guys have been in my DMs asking me all about Sterling and Ryan and my experience. And I wanted to give y'all raw and dirty and give y'all the full experience. So my name is Keandra Jackson. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am based out of Los Angeles, California. I am an award-winning speaker. I am a best-selling author. I am a TV and media personality. I have been named as Forbes. I don't even know if you can see it back here as Forbes Next 1000. Beyonce and the NAACP has recognized my work. And I'm just all around passionate about mental health and healthy relationships. And more recently, I had the pleasure of being the first guest expert on the We Don't Always Agree podcast with Sterling K. Brown and his beautiful wife, Ryan Michelle Bathe. So look, I wanted to share my experience with you guys about that because you guys have been in my DMs. You guys have been wanting to have questions about that. Some of y'all are popping in live because y'all had other questions about other things. But I wanted to get right into it because this was a beautiful experience and one like I have not been a part of so far in my career. So long story short, the first question that y'all had, because I had questions, y'all been in my DM, so I piled the questions up, okay? I piled the questions up. And so the first question that you guys had was, how did this opportunity come about? So let me give y'all the backstory. Let me give y'all the tea. If y'all are in here, please make sure to say, hey, put something in the comment box. I'm trying to see all the comments, okay? There we go. And so we can keep this conversation going. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. So it all started when Sterling K. Brown, he is the actor, he's one of my faves, started following me on Instagram, y'all. Okay, out of nowhere, I see Sterling K. Brown has followed you. I'm like, pause. So one thing about Sterling is that he has this black profile picture on Instagram. It's like blacked out. So he doesn't have a profile picture of himself. So I immediately was like, who punking me? Who's playing games with me? Because ain't no way Sterling actually followed me. And then he started liking some of my posts. So I was like, okay, maybe he just came across my content. Maybe he's just interested in my work. Cool, right? I didn't think anything of it. A few weeks later, I get a call from my girl, Ashley. Hey, y'all. I don't see y'all in the comment section. Child, is it me? It's me. It's me. There we go. Hey, Nix. I am from Los Angeles, California. So I get a call from my girl, Ashley Hobs, y'all. Okay, Ashley Hobs. Shout out to Ashley. If she's on here, I will catch the replay. She is a producer. She has been in my life for a while. And she called me and said, Keandra, I got this project that I'm a part of. They're looking for a therapist. They are looking for somebody who's in Los Angeles. And guess what, boo? I already pitched you. And guess what? They want you to be a part of this project, but I'm calling to see if you would be interested. Okay. And so I'm like, hold on, what is this project? She's like, it's with Sterling K. Brown. It's his wife, Ryan Michelle. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know them. So my team talked to their team. We figured out the date and the time, and we made it work, y'all. So long story short, on my way to go record this podcast with them, thank you so much. On my way to record this podcast with them, I saw two rainbows. I don't know if y'all know, for me, rainbows represent the promises of God. I saw two rainbows. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted this, some other pictures. I posted the rainbows. I'm in the car driving to the podcast studio, and I see these two big rainbows. So I'm recording on my phone, which I shouldn't be driving and recording, but I'm recording these two beautiful rainbows. They were big and they were wide and they were just overarching. And it was just reassurance to me that today was going to be a good day. Today's gonna be a good day. Hey, gonna be a good, like, that's just how I felt. I was like, today's gonna be a good day. So that was super dope to see on my way to record the podcast. So once I got there, I walked in and I had the energy that I have now. Okay, I'm a little bit sick and under the weather, But I came in with big energy. If you've ever met me in person, I'm not just a walk in and be like, hey, like that's not me. I walked in like, hey y'all, like I just knew everybody. So when I walked in with big energy, they hugged me like I was a part of their family. I came in, there was all the producers there. There was Ashley there. There was a whole bunch of people I didn't know. Sterling was like eating a salad or something in the corner. Ryan was there as well. So when I walked in and said, hey, everybody was like, hey, Keandra. And Sterling walked up to me and he said, sister, can I give you a hug? And I said, absolutely. So Sterling hugged me, and then his wife, Ryan, came and hugged me as well. And then I hugged Ashley because if it wasn't for her, baby, I would not have been in the room. Sidebar, let me help y'all with something. Get you some friends that will literally mention your names in rooms that you didn't even know existed. I had no clue that this podcast was happening. I had no clue that Sterling and Ryan was starting the podcast. I had no clue this was going down, but my friend Ashley said, hey, y'all ain't even got to worry about it. I know somebody who is perfect for this job, y'all. And she went to war and she went to bat for me. So get you some faith-based friends, some people who can rock with you, who can pray with you. And Ashley isn't just someone who just came into my life for this project. I actually did Essence back when Essence had their podcast network because of her as well, right? So this isn't just a one-off situation. And I did another project that she mentioned me for too, because of her, right? So this is all super duper dope because of her. So when I walked in, hugged Sterling, hugged Ryan, hugged Ashley, and it felt like family. This was the first time, as I mentioned, if you guys were not here already earlier, where I have worked with tons of celebrities. I have done reality TV shows. I've been on OWN Network. I have been on CBS. I have been on all of the different platforms, commercials, collaborations. I've done all of these things already, right? So this wasn't the first time that I've worked with celebrities, but this was the first time where I felt like this was home. This was the first time where I felt like this was family. This was the first time when I walked in there, they were super nice, super kind. It wasn't this uppity energy like, oh yeah, you're doing my little podcast. Like it felt like they were truly grateful that I even said yes to be a part of the project. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. It felt like, y'all, the only way I can explain it, it felt like they were excited that I was a part of this project. Like they wanted me there more than I wanted to be there. That's what the energy was. And they were truly thankful. I posted a little video that Ryan and Sterling did with me at the end of recording the podcast. And they were just so thankful and grateful. And they shot me out. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram to watch that video. My handle is @KeandraJackson. But it was a dope experience. So of course I did the interview. We sat down. I'm cute, okay? Her hair was done. Her makeup was done. Dress was on fleek. Do people say fleek? That's so, I'm old. My dress was on point. I had on this beautiful yellow dress, had my heels, makeup, everything was on point, right? And so we did this interview. We crushed it. They had some great questions. I got a chance to sit down with them and chat with them. And it was a really dope experience, right? Afterwards, we hung out a little bit, chatted. We had some tea, they was eating, you know, all of these things because obviously they were recording other episodes too. And so while we were chatting, Ryan and Sterling was like, so tell me about you. Tell me, are you married? Who are you dating? What is your dating life? What is your dating experience? Okay. And so Ryan had all of the questions. And I was like, sis, if you're trying to hook me up with somebody, just say that. You know, if you're going to hook me up with somebody, hook me up. I have been telling people, look, at this point in my career, I am having direct referrals only, right? Your girl's not on those social media dating apps. She's not doing, like, it has to be a direct referral in order for me to get into this situation. And so we were laughing and joking about that. And Sterling was like, look, you already dressed. Your hair's done. Your makeup's done. You got on a nice dress. You know, you can just go out to dinner after this because at this point, it was dinner time. It was in the evening. He was like, you can just go out to dinner. You probably could pull somebody. I said, well, your girl is looking cute. Okay, so you're right. So I was like, maybe I'll take that advice. So we all hugged and we got pictures and we did the whole song and dance. and I left. And as we were walking out, one of the other producers, Anthony, shout out to Anthony, walked me to my car because it was super duper dark and it was late. Um, and so we had a quick conversation, and he really honed in on the fact that, again, Ashley went to bat for me. He was like, she sent us your information, and we were like, she was like, you don't even have to look any further. You don't have to look any further. Keandra's the girl. Okay, like she's the plug. And they were like, no, we'll do our due diligence. We'll look at other therapists, whoever. They were like, she was like, no, her personality is going to match with their personality. Like, you need to pick Keandra, right? And so it was nice to hear from Anthony that my friend, again, went to bat on my behalf to make sure that this was an opportunity that was for me. And so I'm super duper thankful and grateful about that. Now, we recorded that episode at the top of the year. I think it was like January-ish. This came out in November, okay? Excuse me, October. It's still October. This came out in October. So that tells you how long, a whole 10 months that I waited for this project. And I kept checking in with them and saying, hey, do you guys have a release date? Hey, when is my episode coming out? Hey, I kept doing that. And I normally don't do that for projects. I normally be like, it'll come out when it come out, you know? But I did that because I knew that this was going to be something. I felt it. Once I left the studio that day, I said, this is going to be something. And not because it was Sterling and Ryan and it was, you know, celebrities. That's not it. But it was the topics, their realness, their rawness, the gems that I gave on there was life-changing. And we'll talk about that in a second too, because that is a part of this as well. So even though I waited and waited and waited some more for this opportunity to come out, it still came out in God's perfect timing, right? Like, it came out at the perfect time. So needless to say, the episode is currently out. So if you have not watched me on that episode, you need to go ahead and go over to the We Don't Always Agree podcast YouTube channel and check it out, right? And then leave some comments over there so they can have me back for season 2. And I'll put it in the description as well so you guys can check it out. So once the episode was released, I assumed that it was just going to be my little 30, 40 minutes that I was hanging out with them, and that was it. I had no idea, y'all, that they recorded a whole additional 30 minutes of them talking and arguing and disagreeing and agreeing on a whole bunch of other things. And then they brought me in on the second half of that episode. Most of the times, it's just normally your part when you're on podcast, and then that's it. So I had no clue that was a whole extended version. So I'm thinking I'm about to go see me real quick. And baby, it was a whole long 1-hour episode of that. And they brought me in kind of like at the halfway mark. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Jenny. And they brought me in. Yeah, that's a real friend. That's a friend to the end. Hey, Chief Niel. Did I say it right? And so once I watched that episode, I was like, what? It came out extremely well. Whoever did the editing and the producing of this thing, shout out to, I think it's called ABF Creative. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody who was a part of this project. And so once I watched that episode and seeing their interaction, that's when I started getting additional questions. The second question I'll answer from you guys is, were they acting this way just for the cameras? And I will tell you this. I do not think that Sterling and Ryan were just acting any kind of way just because they were authentically and genuinely themselves. Even when the cameras were off, even when we were kikiing and laughing and hugging before and after, they were the same. There was no shift in energy. And I love that about them because celebrities can act funny style sometimes. They could, you know, try to be all one way in the cameras, and then when the camera's off, they mean and raggedy and disrespectful. I did not get that energy from them. So when I was watching the first 30 minutes that I wasn't on, and they were disagreeing and arguing and talking back to each other about some of the things that they were struggling with before I came on, I was like, oh, this is real. They're not pretending. They're not playing any games. And they are completely honest with one another. They have been married for over 20 years, y'all. 20 years. So that means they've had a lot of these conversations. They got kids together. They've been through a lot together. So this isn't like their first rodeo, you know, so to speak. But this is the first time that they have allowed you guys and allowed me to be into their world. Just for clarity's sake, I am not their therapist in real life. They have another therapist. But I came in as the expert on this show and on this episode and on this podcast to help drop some of those gems and to help them navigate some of their own difficulties, right? So once I seen them do that, I was like, no, this is real. So if you're questioning their authenticity, if you're questioning who they are, if you're questioning their character, don't. If you watch other episodes with them, I think they were just on the Jennifer Hudson show or somewhere. They were the same. They're hilarious, by the way. Like, I laughed so much with them, and it was refreshing. You know what I mean? Hey, Cherie. And it was refreshing to see, right? And so my third question the third question that y'all wanted to know from me is, what did you think about their conflict and not being on the same page with certain topics? I honestly thought that it was real. There is no couple, especially one that's been married for 20-some years, that's going to be perfect. There's no couple who is not going to have conflict. And if they are pretending like they do, they lying, right? So the fact that they were like, nah, these are our issues. And the name of the podcast is We Don't Always Agree. That tells you right there from everything that you need to know about them, that they don't always agree, but somehow they make it work. Somehow they're figuring out ways to kind of tap into, you know, the fact that they're on the same team and they're not opposing each other and they're not fighting each other, right? They have good conflict resolution skills. One thing I noticed about them, I have seen a lot of couples say that they go to therapy, but I don't necessarily see the tools. They had the tools. Even in, I think it was something that I mentioned on the episode too, they were using I language. I feel, I think, I. And you know anything about me, we talk about I statements versus you statements on my channel, right? In regards to relationships. And so I saw that they used the techniques that they learned with their own therapist inside of that podcast episode. And so I was like, oh, y'all go to therapy for real. This isn't just for play. Like, they be in there putting in work. And I appreciated them bringing that level of awareness and that honesty to this conversation. So their conflict didn't throw me off. Like, I've dealt with high conflict couples. I've dealt with couples, celebrity couples as well. If you have not seen me on Love Goals on OWN's network, it's not out anymore, but you can go back and watch old episodes. We dealt with high conflict couples, right? On that show, I was the resident therapist. And so I have seen so many of these opportunities with celebrities play out in this way. And so after the episode came out that day and I watched it and I started promoting it and sharing it with my network, with y'all, posting it everywhere, saying, hey, go watch my episode. Sterling sent me a message. He sent me a DM and he said, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of the podcast. Thank you so much for dropping gems. Thank you so much for your vibes, your transparency, your authenticity. We appreciate you so much. Like, he sent me this beautiful message and he didn't have to, y'all. Like, he could have just went on about his merry little life. And I was like, nah, this dude is real. He's authentic. He's genuine. And I felt like they were very appreciative of the fact that I was on the episode with them. And so it felt good to know that somebody could spin the block on me. And say, hey, we appreciate the knowledge, the expertise that you're bringing to our podcast and helping our audience. So I felt like I did a good job. Your girl did a good job. You know what I mean? But I wanted to share that experience with you guys because it's not always typical that you hear the back end of how opportunities come about or how people, experts, therapists, or whoever are on certain podcasts and how it happens. And so I wanted just to give you guys a little glimpse into that world, into that space of like what that looked like, right? And so even when Sterling was sending me that message of thankfulness, I shot my shot. And I'm not talking about in a lovey-dovey way because y'all know I'm all for keeping people together. I didn't shoot my shot romantically with him. What I'm saying is, y'all know that I have a show. I have two shows on my channel here. One called The Keandra Jackson Show. Also the other one called Keep It in Real with Keandra. I bring on guests on The Keandra Jackson Show. So I told him, if you and Ryan feel in your spirit that you want to come on and be a guest on my show, I would love to have you guys. And so Ryan and Sterling, if y'all are watching this, y'all have an invitation to come on to my show. And so I need for y'all, my followers, my subscribers, to send good vibes, send good energies and prayers to make sure that it eventually happens in the near future. I'm going to be revamping the Keandra Jackson Show and bringing it to you guys in a different format and live with other guest experts in person. So it's going to be super duper dope. So hopefully they will eventually be on my show. I'm hoping and praying that they are, because that will be an amazing episode. So if you have not watched or seen any of the videos, the footages, the behind the scenes that I have, again, it's on my Instagram. Go check it out over there. You'll see more of my experience. But one of the things, if you guys have any questions about this or anything else, feel free to start putting them in the comment section, because we are wrapping up. But one of the things that I loved about this episode, y'all, at the end of the episode, they asked me if I was seeing clients for therapy, which y'all know I am not currently. But I also stated, hey, if someone needs resources, they can email me. Baby, why did I say that? I'm all here for giving people therapy resources. I truly am. But baby, y'all have inundated me with all the emails, with all the DMs saying, hey, Keandra, I saw you on the We Don't Always Agree podcast with Sterling and Ryan, and you said that you would give some therapy resources. And I'm like, I absolutely did. So I'm sending people all of these different emails with therapy resources where they can find a therapist. I'm sending them my video that I created on my channel here on how to find a good therapist, the back end things that you guys don't know about your health insurance, about EAPs, getting free therapy through your job, the number of sessions, diagnosing, all of these things that y'all probably don't know. I created a video about those things too, right? And so I was very appreciative and thankful that people are taking heed to what I said, but also that people are hungry for therapy. It's really dope to see so many people, especially people of color, Black people, say, hey, I need this for me. I need this for my relationship, for my marriage, for my kids. And it's really awesome that I have been able to be that resource for a lot of people. So that really warmed my heart, and it continues to happen because people watch podcasts and listen to podcasts at different rates. Right? So, this came out weeks ago. And so there was a whole bunch of people who were watching it then, and I was sending emails. And then, people watch it later, weeks later, even people will continue to watch it, and they will continue to reach out to me as well. And so I'm just thankful to be a part of that process. So I just wanted to hop on here. Let me look in the comment section to see if you guys have any questions about my experience working with Sterling and Ryan, or just any questions in general. I told you guys that I will hop on here live to get any questions answered for you guys, whether it's about relationships, marriage, mental health, public speaking, YouTube, whatever questions that you have. I am happy to be a resource while I am on here chatting with you guys. And please, again, forgive me. I am under the weather, so I'm trying my best to push through. Cherie says, I love the energy and your expertise. They were respectful of each other. They were respectful of, even though they disagreed, they were very respectful of each other. Thank you, Jenny. Cherie says, tell them they can do a 2-for and tag me in. You're so funny. Well, hopefully they'll say yes eventually, and they'll come on my show just like I had the opportunity to come on their show. The Grill says, you sound like a happy soul and someone with good vibes. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. They are fortunate for your guidance. You are amazing. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love this. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Well, it doesn't look like you guys have any specific questions. I am going to take the opportunity to end now. But if you guys want me to go live more often, put it in the comment section. Let me know. I'm thinking about going live at least once a month now. I haven't been the best at going live. I'll drop, videos every single week for you guys and YouTube shorts. But I think I want to get on and just kiki with y'all. Get on and just hang out with y'all a little bit. Get on and chat with y'all a little bit. And I think that that's something I will incorporate at least once a month. And if y'all like it, I might do it more often. You don't know, but y'all gotta let me know. Okay. So anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope moving forward that you guys will be able to get more of these interactions. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.